So it's been a week, huh? Literally, hypothetically, I haven't posted in a week, and I mean I've been keeping up on the news and everything, but I wanted to actually be, post at least a news thing. And actually, I've got something I want to watch with you guys, and it's a, you know, pretty good reference to the week. It's Habitual Linecrosser. He makes uh takes news and makes it tries to make it comical. Um, and let's watch this. The first part it's gonna take a little bit before I really say anything because I want it to play all the way through. So here we go.
Okay, Iran. So, what do you say we start talking about this deal?
Okay, first and foremost, I want all sanctions against me lifted.
Okay, done. Are you done with nukes?
Hold on, we will get to that. Then I would like freeing up of all of my assets. It should be around $100 billion of things that have been sanctioned and taken and frozen by the US.
All right, you got it. So, how about the nukes?
I need a little bit more. How about you lift the blockade? You get other countries in the area to agree to at least a $300 billion investment. And I want to be able to trade oil.
You can probably consider it done. So about those nukes.
Whoa, wait, whoa. Why are we agreeing to any of this?
First time listening to politicians try and make a war deal, huh? Yeah, you can usually tell it's them by the severe pounding sensation all service members feel in their asshole.
Okay, can't believe this guy's serious. See how much more we can get. No hostilities in Lebanon anymore from Israel, and I also I want you to respect my sovereignty and never enter my country again. No. This is where it's got to change. We can't make promises on other people's peace. Like that's ridiculous, right, Buff?
Bite the pillow. Politicians notoriously go in dry. Yeah, I suppose we can do all of that too. But no nukes, right?
Is there anything else we want? Literally giving us whatever we want. No, Mahmoud, you cannot get a magic carpet. I'm not sure if they even have those. Fine. We will dilute our enriched uranium under the supervision of the IAEA and will never pursue a nuclear weapon. I can't fucking believe this is happening.
Done. Take that, Obama. Out of the deal.
So this whole thing was just a colossal waste of time, money, and lives. Look, okay, guys, I try not to get too preachy. This isn't a partisan thing. This isn't for or against a certain politician. This is, look, if you were a service member in the Middle East, from any time from the Beirut bombing all the way up until today, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Houthis, Hezbollah, hell, even for a little time, ISIS and the Taliban, Iran has supported every single one of them. We finally had an opportunity to deal with the problem at its source. And yet again, somebody got weak in the fucking knees. And I'm not like berating anyone. I don't know what the deal was before. I love to hope that this is a 5D chess move that I'm just not privy to right now. But more than anything, I'm just hurt. I feel like everything we worked our asses off for meant nothing. And I feel like the service members over there who are toeing the line right now just got slapped in the face. And it's painful. Again, I would love to be wrong. I want to eat these words. But it's kind of shitty.
So, um, the Iran deal, um, is not enough. I know everybody's pockets are hurting because of gas prices and whatever. Um, but I agree with them. I've I come from a military family and haven't served myself, but I sympathize with anyone who has served and thank you for that. This isn't good enough because in the last 25 years, we've had similar deals. Um, Bush, Obama, they've made deals. And as these deals are going on behind our backs, underground, all the stuff that's going on, here they are, they're developing nukes. So the Iranian government, as it stands, is untrustworthy. Um, and due to the fact that they are a theologian or they're a theocracy based around a certain religion that I'm not going to bother naming, um, that literally says if you're dealing with someone of another religion, you can lie to them. You can be deceiving and deceitful and not tell the truth, not hold bargains, not do any of those things. And the government there is based around this. Um, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. Oh yay, they promise that they won't do something that they lied about twice that I can think of in 25 years. They've lied twice about it already. Third time's a charm, right? Um, no, I mean, we should have went. Like I said before, I don't agree with going boots on the ground. I don't want to go boots on the ground. But the hell if we should have left them standing. And I want to eat my words just as much as he does. I hope it's 5D chess. I hope that I'm not privy to some part of the deal. Maybe if the light at the end of the tunnel, maybe they also have to have an election. Maybe they have to have an election and get rid of nukes. I don't know. But this 100% is not good enough. And I'm sorry for anyone who's hurting financially. I'm hurting financially because of this. But you have to take an opportunity when it's there. And sadly, a businessman should know that. A businessman should know that. And I'm disappointed. But let's keep going.
Uncle Sam, I'm cautiously optimistic. Notoriously, that part of the world can't follow any fucking treaty, any agreement, any memorandum of understanding, so they're gonna break that shit. Just like before, they promised not to pursue a nuclear weapon. What did they do? Pursued a fucking nuclear weapon. They'll break the truce, we'll fuck them up, but I have a better plan. Instead of playing this dog and pony show for a little while, how about we just start glassing motherfuckers until they decide to capitulate?
I second Buff's idea. Let's just do it that way. That's what I'm built for. I'm not built for this negotiation shit. You know, every day I'm realizing that General Schwarzkopf was right. If the military just handled shit so fast that politicians couldn't fuck it up, the world would probably be a more peaceful place. Hey, America, I happen to see one of your precious B-52 Buff, which stands for Big Ugly Fucking Fucker or something. Happen to crash, kill all 8 inside. But I'm not evil like you. I do not applaud the death of individuals who had nothing to do with the combat in my country.
Yeah, so, you lost a strategic bomber in the exact same day. Yeah, I just want you to know that. Yours was from sheer incompetence. Mine, well, on the other hand, it's, balls were too heavy. Your mom's got to put out a little bit more often, okay? Couldn't get the amount of lift I need to get the sack off the runway.
Buff, how you holding up, buddy? Did you know him?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Lore moment, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, we all share an airframe and we all kind of share a consciousness. When one goes down or one gets injured, we all feel it. Everyone's a little bit different, but when an F 35 goes down, the nerd feels it. When an F 22 goes down,
I got another tally mark in me. That's how many enemies I gotta take out before I let them take me.
Wait, you guys feel it? When another one of your airframes go down, that's got to be miserable. That would drive a human insane.
why the hell do you think I'm so jaded? I feel it every time. Linebacker too, I felt him. And every time in Vietnam, I felt him. In harm's way, I felt it. I feel all of that shit. And I'm jaded for it. But I tell you, after a while, you just realize that peace is a lot better than war. But if we're going to make war, I'm going to make it a lot better than you.
I see you had your Freedom 250th, which congratulations on your 250th birthday, but come on. A UFC fight? People, service members saluting UFC fighters?
They weren't saluting the fighters, beans on toast. Those fighters were being escorted by members of the service who had Congressional Medals of Honor. That's who the fuck they were saluting. How about you take a nice tall glass of shut the fuck up before you decide to run your mouth about shit you don't understand?
Fine. I do think it was rather fitting that Nitro Circus was there, considering your entire political system right now is a bloody circus.
By that logic, your entire country is one giant sword fight.
The stabbings are not as common as people believe.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon either. And what the fuck you got oh, I know why he's got a problem with the Freedom 250th. It was fighting, military flyovers, dirt bikes doing backflips, basically all the fun shit that Beans on Toast can't stand. Oh, what, did you think somebody there might have had a gun? Oh my god, better break out your whooping stick and get stabbed by some fucking Middle Eastern guy.
Trying to keep the jokes flowing, folks, but I'll be honest with you.
God. Well, so he's usually a little bit funnier, a little bit more. He's way more aggressive right now. I wonder why. I mean, it's the same reason I'm having a hard time. Actually, this is like, I don't know, the fifth cut I've done on this, and I just seem like I can't get it right. So, let's keep going.
Nothing in the news right now is good news, so we might as well just continue on.
Oh, and yeah, B-52 went down over at Edwards, and it did, it took its crew with it, and that's another thing on the list of not great things. On a side note, actually, I think my head's covering up something that. Hold on. Let me move. Let's see, right here. This one. 3-year-old England's still going. So, I mean, they got nothing to really talk about. But let's go back to where I was and restart. Well, not restart, but go.
I saw the independent report about the rhymes with grape gangs in the United Kingdom. And, yeah, it made me feel some things so heavily that I had to stop reading it. Yeah, I read through it, and it's...
Yeah, and I've read some of it. I mean, okay. So, the one thing I do have to state is that the independent report for these gangs over in England, obviously the number is much bigger than what we want to really. Okay, so there's obviously missing reports, not all there. Some of it's, and it's definitely kind of sort of tilted to try to offend people to, against the migration. Also, it's somewhat disappointing. I mean, they're using this huge number, 250,000 reported or whatever. Um, but since the start date of it is just insane, why would you go back so far? I think it starts like 19, what was it, 1952 or 62? Y- y- Um, but it's still disturbing.
its entirety. And then I decided to lubricate my feed mechanism and the mulching mechanism using pig fat. I'm sure that those two things are not correlated at all. Now, I do have some caveats to this story. I will say that there is some data missing in that report. It seems a little targeted, and I'm taking this as not objectified, what's the word I'm looking for? As unbiased as I possibly can. It does seem a little one-way targeted. However, it is kind of impossible to ignore the 250,000 plus claim since 1955 over there. Now, these are majority young women and girls who are in really broken homes and not really under supervision. Like, they're not just scooped up off the street in that way. They are groomed for a period of time and then repeatedly essayed and fed alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. It's... Don't read it while eating. Like, there's really... It made me feel a lot of things, and all of which I basically can't say here.
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same here. But I just want to kind of elaborate a little bit more. Um, so it really wouldn't matter that, like, this could apply to any, group of people or sections of people, because, I mean, it's a very high majority of a certain group in the report. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be an influencing factor or why people shouldn't be upset with it. But, I mean, they're basically grabbing displaced girls where, they have the girls have the original mindset of, my parents don't care, all this other stuff. And then, of course, kind of pampering them and then starting to get them, hooked on materials that make you not think anymore, and then so on and so forth. Um, so this can technically happen anywhere. So this is kind of like just as much a fair warning for parents as it is a um, scolding of a certain group, because obviously there's something to be said there too. Um, but continuing.
You import the third world. You become the third world.
You know, Poland, you and I are not that different. I have a very similar policy here that Russia belongs to ethnic Russians. And if you come here, you must assimilate. It's something America used to be very fond of.
We are nothing alike. I try to mind my own fucking business and not expand. And I have to spend all this money on new equipment and weapons just because of you. So are you saying we're alike? Should I invade my neighbor and get my ass kicked for 4 years?
I am not losing. I am not getting my ass kicked. I am simply trying to negotiate exactly what we need to happen in Ukraine. Did you guys see the top of that tank at the refinery blow up? Oh man, that's got to be 150, 200 feet in the air. Anyways, good luck.
Hey, you forgot about me. But that's all right. I got to do a flyover at the 250th. It was about keeping my word. Sending a message.
I like that one.
Of course you do.
What? You don't?
He's criminally insane.
Wow, I guess that was a really fancy way of saying you're a baby back bitch and never want to have any fun.
Excuse me. So that's the biggest news, American news at least. We got Iran deal, not happy. We have, we have the 250. He didn't really mention the fact that at the 250 UFC match that they had at the White House, there was a plot that was happening. I wonder if I can find that. I doubt it. I'm a little bit behind on that news too. But so there was a plot that was. Oh God, I'm being invaded by other VTubers more than anything right now. Oh, Tulsi Gabbard's last day. That's another one. Dropping some interesting information about the COVID outbreak and what Fauci may or may not have done. And then the 250, what happened there is basically there was a drone usage in violent ways. Basically, it was found out by the FBI and stopped. And it's just a bunch of stuff. And we have what's going on with, well, we could actually kind of go into this too.
3-year-old has been thrown into a crocodile enclosure by unrelated 30-year-old stranger. And a lot of people assumed, because none of the description of the stranger has been released, that he's most likely some sort of migrant, most likely of the black or brown variety.
So there's that again. More of that. More and more. I don't know what else to say about this. There was also another rape in England at the beginning of the week. I don't know. This week's just not been good. And I don't know who is feeling good this week, really. I mean, I don't see how any of this news is good. None of this news is good. I have another piece of news that I find interesting. And, well, let's just go over it really quick because I want to. And maybe I'll just actually clip this one for another video. Or an independent video. Maybe that's what I'll do. Mexico just went universal for healthcare. And I find this somewhat disturbing because we're making all these. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on at this point. Bad deals, bad other things. Seems like we're falling off the deep end for a lot of things right now. And then a country that a lot of us regard, well, not a lot of us, but statistically is regarded as not necessarily a first world country. Second world country maybe is a better description because, I mean, a lot of its citizens wants to come to the U.S. A lot of people from that region want to come to the U.S. And we have them creating a universal health care service. And the U.S. can't. We can't do it. We have too many fingers in the pot is the best way of putting it for me. And I am sorely, sorely disappointed that that a country like Mexico can try, might actually do, might be successful. I am happy that they are trying. I am happy for them. Good for Mexico. But what bothers me is that the U.S. can't. We can't. We won't. We can't. There's too much money in it. What if it turns into Canada? Well, let's go look at something. I looked something up while I was doing this. I saw this. This is actually a day old already. But I asked Grok a question, a couple of questions, and well, I wanted a list of all the countries that have universal healthcare systems, and let's kind of go over it. We have the United Kingdom, Spain, Italy, Portugal, New Zealand, the Nordic countries, which is actually kind of an interesting one. And we're gonna go look through some of these because I asked a couple more questions. Other countries like Ireland and Greece, and also countries like, let me see, universal coverage, which is kind of a mix of public and mandatory insurance, kind of like what we got, or try to do with Obamacare. We got Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, continuing. Asiatic countries like Australia, Japan, South Korea, all that stuff, and other countries like Israel, Brazil, Cuba. Well, Cuba. We'll talk about that otherwise. But then I kind of asked it, all right, well, let's what let's rank the countries on a list of quality on a quality index. Why not? Let's find out. So here it comes. Here, what do we got? We got currently in the 2026, on average, U.S. ranks 40th. 40th. The first one, let's go with give me, I think, top 10. Top 10. Let's go top 10. The Netherlands. It is an average, basically average score. I can't quite understand what the Numboro score is, but it's at 81.5. And it's significantly better than ours. And, next one is Japan at 80.1. Spain is next. The country that, is being supposedly taken, well, not supposedly, it kind of is, but it's being taken over by the Moors again. So on. We got the Nordic countries, which are actually, it's kind of interesting. We're going to get it to that a little bit later. And Italy and Portugal, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, and then Canada's 10th. Even though, like it says here, has a high wait time issue. And I have a theory on that, but we'll get back to it in a bit. All right. So then we, some summarizations. Then I asked, okay, of the top 5 systems, what system do they have? And the system that they have in the Netherlands is basically what would be considered a regulated competition mandatory private insurance model. That's what we got and went with. And they actually have a name for this model. It's called the Bismarck model. Japan has a social health insurance and statutory health insurance system. Once again, another Bismarck system. And if you read this, so what it is the Netherlands and Japan have made it where the universal mandatory coverage is through the employer. Not through the citizen, through the employer. Now, does it cover everything? Not necessarily. Just, you know, but that's what, then you have what's known as a supplemental insurance that covers the rest of it. Spain and the other countries, those are the beverage system or beverage, whatever, which is what I think we tried to model here in the U.S. with Obamacare, but failed miserably, miserably, because it's through taxation. So, and this is where I want to get into it. I want to kind of talk about this. I want to talk about, well, first let's talk about Canada for a second, because they went more down a Bainbridge or whatever system, through taxation, whatever. And what I personally think, Canada, they their population versus coverage, because their land mass is huge, right? And their population isn't quite that big. So you have to have too many facilities that are paid for through too small of a tax envelope. Like, you can't pull in enough taxes to make enough buildings to cover the whole area, right? So that's my theory on Canada. Why the Canadian system, it seems to be bad. Seems to be. So the U.S. kind of has the same problem. We have a very large, much larger land mass than most countries. So the countries that are going to have a problem is going to be like Canada, the U.S., Russia, and China, because they're pretty much the biggest land mass with, you have to cover a lot of area because of the land mass that you have. Now, I can also take China away technically because their population is much larger. So the taxation bracket might be able to cover all that land. But Canada, U.S., and Russia, both, because Russia's got Siberia, which has a very low population. Canada has the same problem because they're up in the Arctic. They have parts of their country that are within the Arctic Circle. And then the U.S., we just have a lot of land, so there is, so the whole Midwest, where what we call the breadbasket of America, or the grain belt, or whatever you want to call it, the population's pretty low per acre of land. So that zone would be, it would be a siphon on the tax bracket from other places. But the U.S. does have something to its advantage. We have a very large GDP. We make a lot of money. Companies in America do make a lot of money. So theoretically, the best system for us, granted it's most likely not going to happen, would actually be the same system as Japan. Even though, so if you would make it a mandatory coverage through the employer, here's the thing. So everybody knows that the spread of wealth is getting bigger and bigger, right? Okay, so the basic wages, they're going up, but not as fast as the people who make a lot of money, or companies that make, companies, not people, companies, are making a lot of money. So honestly, the best way, and it's gonna, yes, it might make it harder to start a business, or let's rephrase that. It'll be harder for somebody to actually start having employees. So small business wise, it'll be harder for small business. But at this point, it looks like the government's already oriented towards not trying to really have small businesses anymore. They want these big old businesses that are in the stock exchange and all this stuff. So I don't know. Somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. But if if employers want to continue not to give more um, pay towards employees, I would I would personally rather, and this is, I know this is not how everyone thinks, but I would rather um, the company I work for be asked to pay for health insurance and dental insurance and all this stuff that guarantees quality of life than see pay raises, because this comes back to me being somewhat of a middle management and rather be, and even want to be kind of a um, kind of be an entrepreneur if I ever be able to create enough wealth to be able to pay for, starting a business. Um, I would rather see a business be asked to pay for health insurance and all that stuff than sit here and always increase minimum wage. Because the minimum wage, people will get that money and not necessarily spend it wisely. Versus where now the company, instead of being asked to give a minimum wage increase, they just have to be asked to, make sure people stay healthy. I think that would be a better win than minimum wage, to be honest with you. Um, but that's my opinion. So, anyway, I'm going to call it quits here for today. I'm probably going to separate this into another section, but, have a good one.